Twitter too.
No.
Hello, Warriors. Carnage and risk going on, something I've been pounding the table about for a few weeks. Let's start with the headline about the euro attempting a breakout over a weekly trend line. This is a daily, so you could just see the action of how it's trying, but the trend line goes pretty far back, so it's, it's off the highs that we had here in August of 23 and then in December of 23, and it's coming in now. So one by one, we've been having downtrend lines fail. I am looking for much higher levels in euro in the weeks to come. And what's interesting is that people with recency bias, and this is something that I felt conflicted about, but it ended up happening, is that we could have risk off and the dollar not be a safe haven. And that's exactly what happened. So we've had huge declines. I mean, we're in the middle of a crash today. Okay, S&P is down 188. And I don't hear anyone saying, well, things are worse in Europe. Well, maybe in their bourses, but currency-wise, the dollar, despite everything that's going on, it voted last week with this breakdown. Okay. And you could go back quite a ways. We were sellers up here. We were sellers in this range, and even last week at 470. And here we are at 237. I have a speed line coming in at par. I know some people were looking for some support at 102 or so. My belief is that a breakdown under 100 is pretty high probability in my view. So no matter who's elected, the dollar has voted and it's shown its hand. It has spoken, and it means lower. And it could be a lower dollar for, it could be secular. We could be back to a secular bear market in the dollar. So, that was right. The euro was right. Cable's been lagging. I actually bought Aussie before the spike low last night, 64.5. So I'm long. I had no stop. It ran my entry by 100 pips. My stop's now under this low. I'll give it 100 pips to see if it works. The yen has just been a complete disaster. That's the unwind of the carry trade. That's part of it. I was talking about shorts at the 160 level. It was early by a few hundred pips. We got to 62, but you'd probably like to have, so would I, a few of my 160 shorts left here with what's happening there. Canada has been one of the toughest currencies for a while, and I think that we had a pretty good stop hunt. This is a weekly chart, but this is today's action. I think Canada has topped as well. So you had some nice divergence on the spike high. So we had these spikes in Aussie and Canada, and I'm looking for the high in Canada to hold and the low in Aussie to hold. Above this high, I'm out of the way. Below the low in Aussie, I'm out of the way. Let's get to gold, which is being sold off. It's trying to come back here. 2360. I've been talking about silver acting worse, and we almost got to 2650. Thought we'd have a 3 drive. It's overshot. Let me give you a piece of advice today. Don't trade. It's like a building has fallen down, or the piano, that you're using a crane to take down from the 20th floor fell off, and you have to let the dust settle. Nothing wrong with trimming positions that you're the right way on, but I wouldn't have FOMO and chase directionally what's going on here. And certainly, I don't think that it's the right time to try and fade it. Maybe tomorrow, but let the dust settle. Maybe a turnaround Tuesday might offer that kind of opportunity. So I also talked about Euro pound turning good. It was either going to make a new low. That's been a huge move. But let's talk about what's really happening. And something else that I talked about, the hubris of volatility sellers for years. Okay, just picking up quarters off the sidewalk, selling premium on VIX calls and puts, and just being the house and putting the money in their pocket, and that they had recency bias. I put out a tweet, could this low be nuclear? And you know what? It was nuclear. We're starting to fade right here, but we got to 64. And I talked about what really had me convinced was I found out through talking to a trader friend of mine that there are ETFs that people are buying that are implementing, executing vol selling strategies. There's going to be some blowups. They may have had some hope on Friday, even though that was a huge outside move just on Friday. But it's in their face today. There's probably books in that are upside down that were short volatility. So something I was talking about buying it at 12 and then again at 14 when old support became new, old resistance became new support. You guys could go back in the videos and check it out. And I think that day Mike added to his VIX position or bought VIX. It was just this little pullback to 14. Okay. It was, pretty classic. And here we are. So let's talk about more individual stocks. Now, all the gold shares are selling off and they're coming off of their worst levels. I believe, well, now we have our breakdown in GDX. So, there are people saying I would miss gold. I miss the gold shares. This is what happens during a crash, that you sell what you have. And so this is going to take the gold GDX into breakdown territory. And my patience for waiting for 31 may end up being rewarded. And there were many times I thought we were going to get down there here and here. And I sat through rallies and had sit on my hands because I didn't want to have FOMO. And I'm trying to be patient because I saw some things in the silver itself. And here it is. So if we have a continuation of liquidation, this is where you want to start looking at gold at the miners. Okay, so let's go to the Mag 7 now, or we could even really go to the S&Ps. So I don't think you guys will ever ignore key reversals again, okay? Because this was a key reversal that I talked about, both on Twitter and in the room, and even had an S&P sell the top that week at 5660. That's 500 handles ago. But we never made a new high in NASDAQ, and I pointed that out too, although the S&Ps did. But we also had in the NASDAQ on the reversal, we had a 2-week reversal. So 2-week reversals were also real good signals for this. And then I felt that the most vulnerable stocks were going to be the Mag 7. People were sucked into, well, the market's broadening out. That was a fishhook. We don't have an opening in Russell. I'm sure it's not pretty, but really the Russell gave uh, almost all of it back last week anyway. So I'm sure we're down a good percentage. Let's see, maybe we'll be at 190. See what happens down there. But that was really the hook. People were afraid to short because now the market had breadth. They weren't afraid to short all the way up when it was concentrated. I know, I tried it a few times. But, believing that what led the averages up would take the averages down, which was the concentration of those stocks, I didn't believe, even if Russell held up better, that it would save the day. And when Russell capitulated, that was really the nail in the coffin. So let's get to some of the Mag 7 stocks. I did talk about Amazon at 191. being a real critical area. Okay. So if you're long, you had to get out. And then there were some great shorting opportunities, but especially on Friday, you actually had a chance to sell. This was Friday. Amazon at the breakdown area, and look at where we are now in 24 hours. So that's Amazon. Apple's been holding up the best, but it's under some pressure. It's gapping lower today. Meta, trying to bottom, but ugly. Goog, ugly. Think we're going to 140. I told Mike 140 last week. Netflix, how's that look? Might be trying to bottom. Back here, when Microsoft was up here, I said 400 was a possibility. It's overshot my expectations on Microsoft. And then the poster boy, which I was bearish from the top on Real Vision, and then bearish from the failing rally on multiple broadcasts while NASDAQ was making a new high. The key reversal, it came, NVIDIA really topped before even the NASDAQ on the 20th. And then we had a failing rally, and I talked about 110. We're coming in around 94 today. So we'll see. Maybe here's a gap at 96 it's going to hold, but maybe we have to finish this off near 80. So some things to consider with the dollar turning, will be commodities. I think there's going to be some great buying opportunities, and this dollar move is just beginning in my view. And I'm in the money now on Aussie, getting a nice spike in Aussie, and you're getting a nice spike in Canada. You could be short Canada, stops over the high, long Aussie with stops under the low. I do hope that, I've been in the zone. In fact, I'm going to put out a new book. I'd like your comments on this video. I have a book coming out, and I'm thinking about using this for the book cover. And the title of the book is A Broken Clock is Right Twice a Day, and That's All It Takes by Dale J. Pinkert. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. A lot of activity in the room. You don't have to trade. Let the dust settle. There are days in markets when it's more important. What's more important than return on equity is return of equity and capital preservation. And the markets will be here in a few days. So don't get FOMO today. Go hug your family. And remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And I'll see everyone tomorrow for Turnaround Tuesday. Catch you in the room. Hope I'm adding value to what you're trying to accomplish. I know it's not easy. Adios.